Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Glad you made it to class this morning. We're going to get started with our lesson today. So let me share my screen so that we can get started. I think it's this one here. Okay. So let me just bring this down a little bit somewhere where it doesn't get in the way. All right, so today we are going to be discussing religion, which is a very important topic for everyone around the world. And this is something that is, near and dear to me. So can y'all tell if it's recording?
Yes, there's a red dot
Yes.
in the
Okay.
corner.
All right. I can't see that. All right. So awesome. So religion is vital for billions of people around the world, and it's an integral part of their existence. Religion is an influential theme in the study of humanities. Religion can be found in many art paintings and sculptures, books and films, philosophy. Sometimes we apply the values and morals in religion. People are born, they get married, they're buried according to their religious background. And a lot of a lot of religions do follow some of the strict guidelines based on how their religious practices are, and on what they eat, how they get dressed, how they date, how they, the marriage. Sometimes marriages are part of the religious practice. Um, what they eat, what they drink, and how they worship. So really, religion is a very important theme in humanities, and it's something that we all share in our belief, whether we have one deity or we have several deities. So, among the sacred books of the world are the Hebrew and Christian Bibles. We also have the Quran of Islam, the Vedas of India, the Buddhist scriptures, and in China we have the Tao Te Ching, which means the way of life. So in religion, there are really a lot of great books, just even with the sacred books that we use. But there are two great literary works that explore important religious questions. One of them is Dante's Divine Comedy, with its description of hell, purgatory, and heaven. And then we have Milton's Paradise Lost, with its interpretation of Adam and Eve, their story, and its solution to the age-old dilemma of how to account for evil in a world created by a benevolent God. So religion has aroused a great deal of discussion and has led to devastating wars. And there are those who believe that religion is fixed for all time, and those who accept, the beliefs as being flexible. Hey, we could do this, even if it says not to, or are willing to explore and discuss different options. So there are those who find themselves in the middle and who live outside the religious community. So with that in mind, I want to ask a question. And Jeanette, if you can tell the class, in your opinion, as to why this topic of religion can be controversial. And, as the authors say, it arouses a great deal of discussion and even has led to devastating wars, and it's even divided families. What do you think is the cause of that?
I think that religion is controversial because people impose their religion on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the past, people used to conquer lands and make them convert to their religion, and they already have a religion, and so they don't want to change, and so that's why it's kind of like if they don't convert, then they will die, and if they do, then it's kind of like betraying their own religion.
Exactly. Yeah. And we saw that like in Spain when the Muslims came in and, they were trying to do just that. Or, just other, cultures that do the same thing, that demand that they, become, or I think we even did it here in the United States when the Indians were here and we demanded that they, turn to Christianity when they had their own religion. Does anybody else have an opinion?
I think it's very controversial because like some people might not believe in the same beliefs that others follow through with or worship, and it could like create like a big um conflict between people
Mm-hmm.
and like the stigmatization and everything, and in a way um people might feel like they're outcasts.
Okay.
um and yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you both for that explanation. But yeah, it is very controversial because nobody wants to be told, who to worship or not worship. All right, let's continue on. So let's talk about the belief in many gods. Early religions, they practiced polytheism, which is the belief in many gods. They would do it with ceremonial rituals honoring different gods who often represented various aspects of the natural world, the underworld, and the afterlife. I know the Egyptians were about that, about the afterlife, coming back after they were gone, and so we would see that in the pharaohs when they would build them these great pyramids, and they would take all their belongings with them because they knew that they were going to come afterwards and live again. And so mythology, Greek mythology, was also created around the gods of early religions. The Greek goddess Aphrodite, she was the goddess of love, who brought love to the world. And then we also have the Greek god Apollo, who brought enlightenment. Thor, he was a Norse god of thunder. And there were so many other mythological gods like Zeus and others. So this is one of my photos when I went to Egypt. Do y'all know what this is or what it's called?
Mm. No, I know the other one though. I know
The
the
Sphinx.
stones.
The what?
The Sphinx. The Sphinx.
Yes, yeah, the Sphinx. It has a face of a pharaoh and then the body of a lion. It's huge, but his nose has been damaged, because of wars, so he's not all intact. But it was a really cool sight to see. So, at least 7,000 years ago, religion and daily life were inseparable in Egypt. The king ruled as the son of Re, the sun god. The kings were believed to meditate or mediate between the Egyptian people and the gods, and the great cities and monuments were built for Egypt's pharaohs. The walls of the tombs were inscribed with hieroglyphics, which are carved pictures and symbols representing words and ideas. And so when I was in Egypt, like I said, I think I went in 2007, I got my cartouche, which has my name. I don't know if y'all could see that. If I put it too close to the camera, it gets kind of blurry, but it has my name in Egyptian, the letters. And then in the other side, it has my regular American name. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I've had it, ever since. And it's just, I wear it every once in a while. And then also I bought this. This is the papyrus. I don't know if y'all could see that. This is it's a flower initially, and then they break it down where they take all the moisture out of it, and then they put like layers, going down and then across, down and across until they create this type of paper. And so this is my husband's name, and this is my name right here. And then this is our last name in the hieroglyphics. And then, of course, you see the Egyptian. And this is like the marriage certificate that they have. So tells that I'm married. So I've had that since the time, 2007. So the history of Egyptian art is all, let me go back. The period of time in a given family that holds the power back in Egyptian time was called a dynasty. So it's just, whoever held power from certain time to certain time, that was their dynasty. So the history of Egyptian art is divided into dynasties. Thousands of years, pharaohs were depicted as noble-looking. Egyptian art influenced the Greek and the Roman artists to create visual images of their own gods. So this is introduction of monotheism in Egypt. So there was a time in the 14th century BCE that there was a pharaoh called Amenhotep IV. And he declared that the universe was ruled only by one supreme God, which was Aton. And so he decided to change his name to Akhenaton, meaning the son of Aton. And he changed the polytheistic religion to monotheistic, which means only one deity instead of several. And it didn't last very long. Of course, the Egyptians were upset about it. And so the religion ended with his death. And then his son-in-law, King Tut, took over, and then he reversed it back to polytheism. But of course, even though the polytheistic religion continued, or religions, King Tut, was very young when he took the throne, and he died at early age of 18. And so that's where it stopped. But they did find King Tut's riches, his valuables in his tomb in 1922. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
No, man.
No,
Right.
ma'am.
And then let me end with the Greek mythology. I don't know if most of y'all know, and Greeks, and they tell stories mostly with their gods that they would worship. So the Greeks were influenced by the Egyptian, the gods, how the pharaohs they worshipped. And actually, even the pharaohs believed that they were worshipped. I mean, that they were like divine, and so they wanted to be worshipped too. So the Egyptian god Isis, she was worshipped for a time, and then the Greek pantheon of gods was heavily reflected in that of Rome. So Alexander the Great, he was Greek, and he introduced the Egyptian belief in king as God, moving the rulers into the pantheon of deities. Greek and Roman gods and goddesses have long intrigued Western artists and writers and contemporary filmmakers. They draw on the legends, such as the Hercules and their Olympian gods. And I think that's it. That's 15 minutes. How quickly it goes. So let me stop sharing. And then I will stop recording. Let me see, where is the recorder? Right here. All right, thank you for that. And I will go ahead and stop it here.